welcome. This is going to be a mini workshop inspired by my longer workshop, The Era of Authenticity. So if you do want to catch that longer deep dive, just DM me on Instagram, EOA, Era of Authenticity, and you'll get access to all of that. It's $11. But today I want to bring bits and pieces of it as well as other wisdom, inspiration that's been flowing through me lately to really help you find your way. It's that simple. Find your way. And by your way, I don't necessarily mean your way to show up online or to build a business. It may be that, but what I actually mean is your way of walking through this life on earth, your way of being in this world, your true way of making choices. The choices that we make shape a lot of things about our lives. So I'm talking about your true way to walk your true path in this world. And this is all about really quieting down the outside noise, because how much noise is there lately? You open your phone and instantly you have everybody else's opinions. Instagram's really focusing in on that right now, by the way. If you're noticing all the polarizing, controversial things, that's what's thriving right now on social media. So you're probably opening your phone and just feeling bombarded by everything you're doing wrong, everything everyone else is doing right, and what's wrong with me that I can't just have it all figured out by now, right? So quieting down all of that outside noise and chaos of what we should be doing so that we can come back home to our true next right step. And it only needs to be true for you, and it doesn't need to make sense to anybody else. It doesn't even actually need to make sense to you yet. It's just the next right step. So let's dive in. I am not a guru. I don't want you to have me on this pedestal of like, oh, as long as I'm working with Shar, I'm going to be okay. No, 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 no. You've got you. Life's got you. Actually, I do not have all the answers for myself. Definitely don't have all of yours. I will not pretend to. I want you to come into this space to remember you're not here to be fixed. You are actually already whole. I believe the healing journey is actually about remembering we don't need to be healed. There is something to be said for the healing and growth journey, but it really just brings you full circle back to I was actually always enough. I was already whole. So this space is here to help us remember that together. You're not here to be saved. You're not here to be fixed. You're not here to be changed. You're not here to be judged. Okay. Throughout my life, I have wondered how everyone else seems to have everything figured out. Everyone else seems to have it all together. I'm watching everyone else's journeys. I'm like, how is that person so highly motivated all the time? How does that person seem to have everything figured out? Their content is so great. They seem so sure of themselves, right? And so I've wondered what I need to change about myself in order to show up more consistently, whether it's in business or whether it's even just showing up in your life, showing up in motherhood, who sometimes actually doesn't want to get out of bed and do the whole thing all over again. Consistency is getting up and showing up for your human journey on this planet, right? Not just how do I post a reel. So how do I show up consistently in my life? I always feared that actually with having kids. It was like, oh my God, what if I just don't wake up? What if they wake up and I don't wake up? What if I don't want to get up? And I'm laughing about it now because now I'm just like, oh, you become a mother and you just do it. You just figure it out. But at the time, I was really depressed. I actually did not want to get out of bed. And I feared, what is that going to mean for the people around me if I don't show up for my actual literal life here on earth? So over time, I've started to learn I don't actually have to live like everyone else. First of all, I don't see their ups and downs. Maybe they also have all the fears, all the doubts, all the times that they really, really don't want to show up, but they're pushing through, they do it anyways. I don't know. I don't see everything. We're seeing 1%, not even, of somebody's life. So maybe they're not actually highly motivated all the time, or maybe they are, but I don't have to be them, right? If you've ever seen The Wild Robot, there's this beautiful scene, the bird's learning to fly. This other bird says, fly like you, not like them. Because this bird always felt like it had limitations, insecurities, doesn't know how to fly, not like the other birds. And that line, fly like you, not like them, has me like bawling and chills every single time. That's what this is about. I don't have to live like anyone else. I don't have to build like anyone else. I get to fully own my ups and downs and learn how to build and grow and live with the waves, not against them. And this has been mind blowing to me. It's still hard to integrate sometimes because I'm like, oh no, but really today I actually don't think I'm going to be all right. And then I'm like, oh, maybe that's just another one of those waves. Maybe it's going to be okay. Instead of spiraling into like, am I depressed? Am I good? Can I support my family? Maybe I shouldn't be doing anything ever again. Maybe I can't be trusted. And instead I'm like, oh, it's probably one of those times of the month or times of the day, times of the hour where, those little waves just pass. The more we can stop resisting and fighting against the waves, they pass. It's just a wave. It it's here and then it's not, and then you're okay. And we've managed to survive all of them up until now. So we better keep remembering that somehow we do survive them. They're going to be okay. Okay. There's a problem when we think we have to show up a certain way, right? It starts to feel super icky and forced when we think we have to walk a certain path, make a certain set of choices, follow one rigid strategy to life or business, one way to be successful. There's one way to be a mother. There's one way to have a career. No, there's literally so many ways. Even myself in business, I unlocked a new way when I started doing the business that I'm in. And still, I then set myself into this box of it has to look this one way to build that business. No, there's 1.5 million ways to build that business. And your money doesn't always have to only come from that one channel either. There's so many ways that you're going to be supported and held through life when you can learn to trust that and follow those nudges instead of needing it to make sense to everybody else's pathway that they set. When we're building like that, when we're forcing it, we can end up either completely freezing, withdrawing, and doing nothing because we're so confused and so overwhelmed and we don't know how to show up in a way that feels true to us. So we hide from our vision, we hide from making the choices, we hide from the relationships. We don't know how to take steps forward in a way that feels right. So we just don't take any at all. Or we can end up forcing, chasing, gripping, pushing, trying so hard to make stuff happen. If I just do that one more thing, if I just take that one more step, if I just push that little bit further, which, never ends because there's always one more thing you could be doing. Doing is great. Taking aligned action. I've been taking lots of aligned action in my life recently, but when I notice that I'm just pushing, trying to make a result happen, it doesn't feel sustainable. You're like, wow, this could never end and I could literally burn out. Maybe you have burnt out or you're getting there and you'll still end up feeling like we're spinning in these circles and never actually getting over there to that place that we magically land on once we've done enough, right? There's always more to do. But if we just get stuck in the doing, forcing, chasing, gripping, pushing in a way that's not true, it's not going to land in the same way as one simple thing that does feel true. So the solution, nobody has your perfect secret fix. Sorry to break it to you. That's going to give you all the answers. But I will say that your next true step already lives within you. And you may be feeling it, knowing it, but you may be pushing that next step away because it doesn't make logical sense, or you don't feel safe to walk your own path and you're questioning, what will people think? Or what if it doesn't work out, right? You don't feel safe to do something crazy. So you know what that thing is and you just don't trust it, or you're waiting to have everything figured out first before you'll take that next right step. It doesn't seem like the right societal choice or the right choice according to all the external noise. Or you may not even be feeling the nudges, hearing the inner guidance. So you're like, I don't even know what my next right step is. Like, I can't even hear it anymore because the outside noise is way too loud, or you have stopped listening to it for so long and been seeking outside of yourself to Google, to that guru that's supposed to know everything and you can't know it until you talk to them, to your parents, to the school system. They have the answers, right? So you've outsourced all your magic, all your power. It's okay. You can get it back anytime. You can claim it back right now. I'm going to start listening. I'm going to start listening to the tiny, tiny little clues, even if they don't make sense. But you've drowned out your inner whisper because all the other stuff is way too loud. And you can get stuck in consuming. I doom scroll. Who doom scrolls? Who is like, oh, I went on Instagram for this one thing and now I'm still here an hour later. What am I doing? It's okay. Love yourself. I get it. I do it. I am learning how to witness it, not shame myself, but just be like, oh, interesting. Okay, that's not really serving me right now, and stop. But sometimes I don't stop. And I also love myself then, part of the healing. But I saw this thing that was like, humans are designed to create, especially women. We are literally creators of life, right? We are designed to create. So no wonder we get depressed when all we do is consume. And that's so true because we're disconnecting from what's actually coming through us into the world by just looking at what everybody else is doing in the world and then never feeling good enough because we get stuck in comparison. So we might also feel very overwhelmed by trying to make the right choice that we don't actually feel the true next right step coming through. And then again, we're spinning ourselves in circles. We're asking the wrong questions. What's the right move? What should I post? What's going to perform best? What do people want to hear? What's the right thing to say today to make sure that everybody likes me? What's the proper way to behave in society, right? What's the right motherhood choice? What's the responsible choice? What's going to make me successful the quickest? Sometimes we're asking those questions about a career change, like going back to school or something. And it's like, oh, what's going to be the quickest path or the most reliable path to success? But then even the most reliable, because nothing is guaranteed in life ever, paths can sometimes start crumbling beneath us, and something we thought was for sure is now not for sure. So you might as well at least have been on the path that felt true to you, because imagine chasing the most guaranteed risk-free path of, let's say, some university education that you actually don't want, but you're doing it because you think that's what you should do. And then that degree means nothing 5 years from now, maybe. At least have gotten the degree because it felt true to you and you were excited by it, right? Because then at least you go, well, you know what? I lived, I learned, I followed what was true for me in the moment, and I can keep following what's true now. But if you keep following what you think you should do, then if it all crumbles anyway, what will any of it have even meant? So we're trying so hard to follow the right path in life instead of what's actually real for us. And then we wonder why our lives start to feel a little bit empty, disconnected. We wonder, why do things feel so forced? Why can't I be more consistent? Why aren't more people messaging me? Why do I keep feeling burnt out? Maybe I'm not cut out for any of this, right? But what if actually nothing's wrong with you? You've just been trying to build from an energy that's not sustainable. Again, because you're forcing it. It doesn't feel like you. Of course, it's not going to be fun to build a life like that. So forced action is not sustainable. Pressure can create action. If you're like, I just need to get this done, I need to make this happen, it can work for a minute, but it starts to disconnect you from yourself, and it makes everything feel heavier to carry. So anything built from panic requires panic to sustain it. Push, push, push until you burn out, crash, disappear from the world, and then try to show back up again and repeat. And that cycle is so much more exhausting than just the deep devotion of following the next true thing and the next true thing. And eventually you're walking in your truth, and it's not that crazy to do anymore because you're just living and everything's kind of okay. And it's not. You still ride your ups and downs, but you're just here for the ride instead of wishing that you weren't on the ride. So authentic devotion is not about forcing and pushing consistency through hustle and panic. It's not about ignoring your body. It's not about ignoring your hormonal shifts. It's not saying do all the things even when you don't feel like it. It's how do I move with the waves of life? Because you understand that the waves of life are part of the journey, and your mission is actually deeper than the result. You're not just, oh, I'm going to do this thing so that I get this result. Because then if you don't get the result, you're going to be like, why did I even bother? But if you're like, something is coming through me that I can't ignore and it just needs to be expressed, I just have to move this next right step and this next right step and this next right step in life, the journey becomes the whole point. You don't even remember what you were actually trying to get anymore. You're just living. And I believe you can get paid really well too while doing that actual living, but it also comes from detaching a little bit from how you thought you were supposed to make money, how you thought it was supposed to all work out. I every single day am being faced with another initiation and opportunity to let go of how I thought things were going to unfold and just go, well, if that's falling away, then that's not meant to be. And the next right thing will come through. And I trust and I'm ready to follow that nudge when it comes. I'm still doing things. I'm not just sitting around waiting for it to happen, but okay, wherever I'm guided, whatever feels true, even if it's different from what I thought. We've been sold this whole lie about growth, that it's supposed to look like being constantly motivated, having perfect clarity, being consistent 24/7. And if it doesn't look like that, you're doing it wrong. But real growth is actually cyclical, messy, and deeply human. Imagine being down here and thinking that you had gone backwards because you're here and then you're all the way down here. But backwards would be way back here. You're just going through the highs and lows that are part of the journey. It's not going to feel like straight line the whole time. One of the best ways that we can actually connect to our authentic next right step is to let go of the word should. Someone asked me recently, how do you know your next right step? And I said, when you stop trying to know it so hard, where you're like, let go of the need to take the next right step. You know, when you take a break from trying to do everything and you just go for a walk or have a shower, and then all of a sudden you get some idea come through from letting go of the need to control. Creating space allows for insight, whereas pressure blocks it. If we're keeping ourselves busy all the time, when is that next idea going to come through? When are you going to just have that feeling? Maybe I'm meant to create something like this. You know, it's only through quieting down the noise and creating the space for those ideas to come through. So rest is not something that's in the way of creativity. It is a vital part of creativity. Literally create space. If you want to be really creative and inspired and in flow and create things in this world, create space to not move those things forward, where literally there is no goal in that time. There's not like, by the time I get to the end of this 30-minute walk, I better have an idea. Let go of that entirely. Watch what happens. All of a sudden you have too many ideas all at once. So it keeps happening to me recently. Your mess is your message. Whatever you feel like is holding you back can be the reason that you move forward. Not only can you move through challenges, but you can actually allow them to fuel your mission in a way that makes a greater impact on the world and therefore feels more fulfilling. So you'll soon see that transmuting your experiences into medicine connects you with why you're here on earth. I am already feeling like, whoa, I could explain this so much more. I could go so much deeper into all of this right now, but that's all covered in the era of authenticity. So let me know if you want access to that recording, because I won't go into all of that here. But basically what we think we need to grow in our lives, to follow a path that feels true, is we just need more motivation. We need more accountability. We need more hustle, more trainings, more systems. We need to have some viral reel that's going to solve our lives. We need to change or fix ourselves, or we need to wait until we get our life together overnight and then try again. But those things never come. You can try to change and fix yourself forever, and you'll always feel like there's something more to fix. We get stuck in this cycle of, I need to make a change. And then you're like, this is it. I'm going to do it. And we'll start taking action. And then you'll experience discomfort naturally, because that's what happens. And then you'll start to overthink, what's wrong with me? Maybe I can't do this. You'll feel this pressure to fix it, and then you'll force action even more from panic instead of trust. And then nothing about that feels good enough. So you burn out and you give up. And then you're like, I need to make a change all over again. And the cycle keeps repeating. So this is why we can say we want change really badly, but then we convince ourselves actually we're fine. Or we'll start off strong and then we'll disappear after the first week of showing up differently in our lives. Or we'll feel really clear one day and then so confused the next. We'll say that we're going to go all in, and then we'll hide away from our mission. And over time, we begin to lose trust in ourselves because we're not doing what we said we were going to do. And then there's the whole shame spiral around that, if you know that feeling. We're often chasing new external circumstances to fix our internal world, but freedom actually works the other way around. I have worked with so many women that have come into my world wanting to create freedom, but they so desperately need their lives to be fixed so that they can feel free, that it feels like this never-ending chase. Whereas I truly believe freedom is an inside job first. And yes, you can do things externally to create more freedom in your life, but it literally starts with coming back home to the feeling that you actually are already free in this moment to take your next right step and your next right step. And you start to feel free on the journey instead of waiting for all this money to come for then the freedom feeling to come. Some people get a lot of money and they still don't feel free, right? So it's actually not just about what's in your bank account. I started to notice myself at a certain point feeling a bit disconnected from what I was building, why I was building it. I noticed I kind of wanted to fix that feeling instead of be with it. I just wanted to make more money so that I could prove I was safe and on the right path. Because, you know, if you have all the money come in, you're like, yes, that's it. I'm on the right path. But sometimes you got to trust that you're on the right path even before the external resources rearrange themselves. Something in me could not build in that way because it would have felt out of integrity. I couldn't build from this need to make it work, this need to prove myself. I realized my old ways of being were dying out and the new ones hadn't emerged yet. And it was so uncomfortable. I was in the messy cocoon of the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, but I didn't know I was going to be a butterfly. I was like, I'm dead. Like, I'm not okay. And I'm never going to be good again. The caterpillar literally doesn't know it's going to be a butterfly, right? Or maybe it knows. I don't know if somebody told it, but I think it just surrenders and then all of a sudden wings. So my experiment was kind of like, what if actually nothing's wrong with me? What if I'm just forcing things? I'm trapping myself in this box of what I think I should be doing in my life, and I'm missing out on what's actually alive and true within me. So instead of trying to fix that feeling, I completely paused. I paused everything. I was like, you know what? If I never make another dollar again, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll probably live. I'll probably find a way. I might have to sleep on my mom's couch, or I might have to get a tent. Like, you know, I'll figure it out, but I literally let go of all of it. And you don't have to burn your whole life to the ground, but I literally was like, if it's not for me, if I'm not meant to do it in this way, I don't want to do it at all. I let go of the pressure. I let myself feel that discomfort of the unknown instead of bypassing it and trying to fix it. I'm so used to earning and showing my productivity, showing my worth through good grades and being able to be like, see, look at me. When I could tell my dad, look, dad, my business works. I make so much money. I felt like I was good enough and I was safe and I was worthy and I was loved and I was supported. And my dad's my accountant. So he, like, you know, sees all my numbers. If I were to be like, dad, I made $0, I would feel like something was wrong with me. But that shouldn't be where your feeling of wholeness and aliveness comes from, of just being able to prove the number on the screen. So I noticed that I had the wrong definition of what success meant. I really stripped it back to like, I actually just want to be a really kind human being. And I'm sucking at that a lot of the time, as most of us are, right? I don't know how to do that. I get pretty triggered and mad at my partner. I'm not always handling things very well. I just want to be love. I just want to be the kind of person that people are just like, wow, it just feels good to be around Shar. I don't care about the rest. The rest, I believe, I trust will sort itself out, I think. I don't know. It was an experiment. So it looked like not posting something just to post it, letting myself feel like a failure, letting go of the need to control all my circumstances. And what I found was I had been gripping onto control. I felt like, yes, life is working out for me because I could prove, look at me, life is working out for me. But actually learning how to trust, even when I didn't know how it was going to work out, that somehow it still was, that was when I really started to learn inner trust and inner safety. Not just I'm safe because of a number on the screen. I'm safe because I have this many followers. No, I'm maybe not safe. I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know tomorrow. I just know right now, here I am, safe, kind of okay. Like look around you. Actually, fine. Literally fine. But we convince ourselves that we're not, because what's going to happen if I don't make that money before next Tuesday? This isn't just about money, but I guess in this moment, that's what's coming through me. That's what a lot of us consider safety. Once I have enough of a cushion, once I feel resourced enough. And sometimes that day just never comes. I know literally people who have $1 million in their savings account and don't feel safe because it's not 2 million. That was a big wake up call for me too. I was like, I have literally $20. And I think I feel more internally full than some people who have so much more and don't feel like it's going to be enough because what's going to happen if they lose it all? So it's like, wow, safety is not a number on the screen. Safety really is our nervous system. It's trusting that we're held. Letting go of everything, letting go of my mission, letting go of my business. I let go so much. It still brought me back to actually my same business model, but just full circle in a completely different, deeper way. And I found that real power and inspiration is not about holding it together all the time. It's actually about trusting that you can fall apart and still come back to yourself over and over again. That's so big. If you can trust when you're going through these initiations and it feels like a part of you is dying off, let it die. Let that part of you go. Let that pressure go. Let that way of being go. Maybe the next way is emerging and you got to make space for it. So gripping onto control does not build lasting freedom. It just makes us feel temporarily less helpless. And since all of that, I've reconnected with why I'm here, why I create, why it matters. I've let go, not perfectly, but more of attaching my sense of worth to metrics and performance. Don't get me wrong. There's still that little part of me wants to go on Instagram and check and make sure that I'm impacting people. Are they getting it? Is this working? That I need to remember, no, actually, you just showing up, your fullest self is working already in ways that you cannot even see. It's invisible. Your impact on this planet is invisible. You will, yes, have people say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I needed to hear this, and that's incredible. And most of it is going to be invisible. You've got to trust that it's there even when you can't see it. So, journey of letting go, of attaching that sense of self-worth to how well am I performing and what can I prove? Learned that I was actually held and supported by life in ways I couldn't possibly explain. I stopped gripping onto control of the way that money needed to come. And what I found was I became so much more lit up by the impact I could make in the world through adding value. What am I learning? How can I serve? I don't know everything yet. I cannot be someone's healer and guru. I don't want to be. I don't want them to think that I hold magic that they can't. I want us all to remember how whole we are. So how can I bring my remembering journey to you and to share together? So freedom and money and all these things coming in now just feel like a natural byproduct of that creative flow. I'm literally just creating. I'm creating so much. And then sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm literally not creating anything. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. Shouldn't I be creating? But then I remember, no, I need to not create sometimes so that when I'm meant to create, I will create. So now I'm just like making shit and I'm putting it out into the world and it's making an impact. And sometimes it seems like it's not. And that's hard. That's weird to be with, but I'm being with it and I'm learning through it. And here we are. Through all of that, I birthed something that I'm very, very proud of called the Held Method. And this is a framework that has been supporting my freaking crumbling, questioning everything, re-emergence, rebirth over the last year so that I can create a life that actually feels free within, regardless of what's going on externally. The external resources and creativity come naturally when you feel held first. So that's why it's called the Held Method. So this isn't a strategy, it's a pathway from survival to expansion. It's the bridge between that inner sense of safety. I am actually safe and worthy and held and whole just as I am, and also bridging that into external freedom and resources, impact, money, all of the things in ways that feel actually aligned with who you are and what you came here to earth for. So that eventually, and Andy and I are starting to really see it in our lives, where we just look back and go, wow, we were just being. We were literally just doing the God-given work that we came here to earth to do, hanging out with each other, impacting other families, supporting women, mothers, playing with kids, and we were just living. And the money was just working because it just was, because we're supported to do what we came here to earth to do. I want you to screenshot these so that you can implement them yourself. I do have an 8-week program that I'm going to share with you if you want to go deeper into all of this stuff after today. But I want you to also, whether you do the program or not, actually be able to learn from today and carry this with you. Held is a method that I want to gift. I want us to all, if it resonates, implement and support ourselves in our own lives. So H stands for home. Home is really about letting go of all the outside noise and pressure of what you should be doing and learning to come back home to your truth and plant deeper roots so that your next steps actually feel aligned instead of forced. This is about letting go of control and panic, which creates space for something new to emerge. When you quiet down all of that stuff, that's where the next right step comes through. So in your own daily practices, this can literally just be a deep breath. This can be 5 minutes of putting your feet in the earth. This can be a walk where you don't listen to a podcast or an audiobook or music for once, and you actually just allow your own thoughts to come through, your own downloads, inspiration, waves of creativity to come through. I'm also all for listening to podcasts, believe you me, but I also realize we fill our heads with other people's thoughts a lot of the time, and then we don't create space to have our own. So this is the difference between I need to make money to feel secure and I trust the journey and build from that place. And that's where the money comes from. And when money comes from there, you're like, wow, I could do this forever. Whereas when the money comes from, I need it, I need it, I need it, it never feels like enough. So home is coming back to, I'm actually safe right here, right now. I actually already have enough. I don't need something else to feel free and to feel whole and safe right now in this moment. From there, we expand. So when you let go of all of the pressure, maybe you were like, oh, I need to make this dream life thing happen today to feel worthy. Let it go. You still get to dream, but it comes from your truth instead of desperation and what you think you should be building. You now start to expand authentically from this grounded, centered energy where you're actually whole and safe in here and good enough just as you are. You begin to reconnect with possibility. So this can look like listening to a podcast, listening to something like this, expanding yourself with conversations, allowing yourself to dream again with curiosity rather than pressure of, I need to do something different right now, from, I don't know if I can really do that, to, but what if I actually could? When you let go of the panic, the pressure, and all of that, it's like, maybe I could actually travel. Maybe I could actually be a parent. Maybe I could actually live that vision. Maybe I could actually have that little cottage by the lake. I don't know. What if I could? Asking genuinely, what if? And connecting with the vision that's actually on your heart, not what you thought you were supposed to dream of. From there, as you expand, you're inevitably going to go through moments of doubt, resistance, fear. You're going to have all these old patterns and things resurfacing. That is part of the journey. Those waves are literally just part of it. So we can make this mean that we're not capable, that we're not good enough. Like, why am I doubting? Why am I scrolling? Why am I numbing out? Why am I hiding from being seen? Why am I saying I want to do things and then like sabotaging? These waves are part of the journey and we're not alone in them. So we can set ourselves free and really, really liberate ourselves by learning how to love ourselves through the lows, have compassion and go, it makes sense that you're feeling that way. Of course, you might feel that way sometimes. Of course, you might want to hide sometimes. There's a lot more to it, but really, I think healing comes from love instead of shame and judgment. So instead of seeing these lows as problems or failures to be ashamed of, what if we just went, that little part of me that's scared, that's hiding, that's numbing, I'm going to just give them some love and say, I see you. It's okay. You're not alone. It can seem like, but shouldn't we kick the pattern to the curb? What if it's unhealthy eating or scrolling? What if it's not good for me? This is a quote that I love. You can't hate yourself into becoming someone you love. So from judgment and shame, you're going to keep falling back into the same old patterns. But when you can actually have empathy and compassion for yourself, watch that things just start to kind of fall away because those patterns don't need to keep you safe and gripping and protecting yourself anymore. You're setting yourself free from all of that shame and all of that judgment. So again, there's more to it that we go into, but I feel like I'm going so far over time of what I wanted to do as a mini workshop, but I hope you guys are getting lots of value. D is for devote. So consistency is not about forcing yourself to show up. It's about devoting to who you're becoming, even when it makes no sense. So this is about leaning in through the messy middle, you know, that feeling where you're starting to show up in this new energy, but it doesn't seem like it's working. Devotion is I'm going to keep walking my path that feels true, even if it's not making logical sense, even if I don't have proof that it's unfolding how it's meant to. If I am taking each next right step that feels true to me, I trust the unfolding. I trust the emergence of who I'm becoming more than I need the proof to keep going. So you're holding that little glimmer of possibility even inside the gooey cocoon. And this is where you stop just waiting and hoping for your dream life to come to you, and you decide that you're going to live it no matter what. So this is, for me and my family, a big one. And we go into this inside our devote session. Even when we didn't have a lot of money, we really wanted to prioritize adventure, family, and nature. Those are big, big values for us. We were never going to go back to jobs that were burning us out. Not to say we never would want to work in this world in this lifetime, but not the way that we were working before. We would never go back to that. So the alternative was, how do we find ways to keep living within our values, even if we're not always rolling in money? Because sometimes there have been stretchy seasons. And so that has looked like living in a tent in the woods. Even if I couldn't afford a cabin in the woods, I would live in a tent in the woods versus an apartment in the city. That's just my personal values. How can you devote to finding a way? Sovereignty and freedom of choice is not about controlling everything about life. It's within the circumstances that I'm in right now, right here today. What can I choose with that? Even if I'm like, oh, but I have to wait until I get over there. Once I have this, once I have that, then I can do the things that feel true to me. No, it's how are you doing the things that feel true to you with the circumstances that you're in right now? And that might look a little bit different for people that are still working a full-time job, but your wellness and your growth matter to you. It's I'm creating 10-minute pockets of time to devote to that. That's devotion. Even if I don't have 3 hours accessible to me right now. When I am with my kids, I'm going to look them in the eyes. It's those little moments where you're like, I'm going to do what is true for me, even if I don't have the full capacity of it. Then you're not just racing to some finish line of your life. You're actually building a life that you love from those little moments outwards. Your life does not change when everything becomes certain. Nothing is ever going to be certain forever at all. Nothing is certain. Everything could end a second from now. It changes when you stop needing certainty to take the next step. That's where so much magic unfolds, because you just take the next step and the next step and the next step. And there's a part of us that wants to understand what the next 75 steps are going to look like, but you can only see the next one. And once you get to that one, then you'll see the next one. And once you get to that one, then you'll see the next one. But we're like waiting until we have this perfect 15-year plan to take tomorrow's step. This journey is not linear. You're going to cycle through these different seasons of your journey. I will cycle through this in a day. Sometimes I'll be so devoted to my mission, pouring so much into it, and I'm loving it. But then I start to realize I'm chasing this perfect completion that doesn't exist, and I need it to be this certain way, and I start to grip. And I don't notice it. It's from passion, excitement, liberation, feeling great, devoting to whoa, hang on a second, come back home. When you notice that you start to push it a little too far, that's normal. That's going to happen sometimes. And you just go, hang on, wait, I'm actually safe. We're good. Even if I stopped this project right now, I would probably be okay. It's just coming back home over and over again to then that authentic next expansion, liberation, devotion back home, and keep cycling through. We are going to go through this cycle together. If you are doing my group program, we are going into this together for 8 weeks. Held is the name of the container, the path to true freedom. And by true freedom, I mean a life that actually feels free, not just looks free. This is an 8-week journey to creating an authentic, liberated life from trust over panic. Weeks 1 and 2 are coming home. So we're going to do a week of teaching. You're going to get training modules, which I'm really excited about, going deeper into these themes. And then the next week is going to be live coaching, integration. As you guys can hear right now, I'm literally so obsessed with teaching. I never want to stop. So that's why I'm going to put them into little modules that you can go through at your own pace. And then our live call gets to literally just be focused on live coaching, so that we really create as much space for that as possible. So coming home, planting deeper roots, inner safety. Weeks 3 and 4 are about expansion, possibility, aligning with your true vision. Weeks 5 to 6 are about liberation, shedding old stories, and healing through love. And weeks 7 to 8 are devotion to living fully and walking your true path. So we have a VIP version of this that also includes one-on-one calls. I don't normally do one-on-one calls. I love them. I'm just a mom and I like to create as much space in my days for spontaneity and adventure and time with my family and creation, but I also love one-on-one calls. So I do have a VIP package that includes the 8-week held container, 3 one-on-one expansion calls, which are a $333 value each, and my mindset upgrade course that's a $500 value. And that investment is $997. If you just want the group journey, the 8 weeks of deep journeying towards a more authentic life, the investment for that one is $497. You can go to borntothrivecommunity.com/held if you want to join this program. And I'll leave that up there on the screen for a second so you can screenshot. I will also type it into our chat here. But I also just want to honor, again, you really do have everything you need within you. I never want to be a coach who says the only way to be successful, the only way to be healed, the only way to thrive is to do my coaching program. That's not how I feel at all. I have said no to many different coaching programs over the years because they didn't feel true. They didn't feel in alignment for me. And no matter how much urgency someone put into like, your life is going to suck if you don't say yes to this course, I was like, nah, that doesn't feel right. So I want you to really know that's never the case here. This is an opportunity to walk through this stuff deeper together because, as you can hear, I could speak for 27 hours on these topics. I've become so passionate. I've learned so much that I just have resources and resources and resources that I want to pour out into the world. So I created this. It's going to be epic. And with that being said, again, you have everything you need within you, and your soul already knows the way, and your inner wisdom knows so much more for your path than I could possibly know. So remember that.